continue now our lesson by doing some listening exercise, and the topic will be about online again, online perils. So let's start by going through some vocab. Spam. We have talked about what spam is before. So spam is unwanted email, usually advertisements. So this is the part of your email where all the unnecessary emails go to. Phishing is an attempt to trick someone into giving information over the internet. So getting on Skype, I'm a Nigerian prince, please follow me or give me some money and you'll get it back. Admittedly is used when you are agreeing that something is true, especially unwillingly. Navigate. To navigate something is to move around a website or computer screen or between websites or screens, but navigate could also be to find something in general. Unscrupulous is behaving in a way that is dishonest and unfair in order to get what you want. Alleviate, to make something bad less severe. Likelihood, the chance that something will happen. And fraudulent is something illegal and dishonest. So this is some of the vocab we will be hearing about now in the upcoming listening. We will do the listening again twice, or we will see how it goes depending on how fast the track is. Let's start.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Fowler, and I would like to welcome all our listeners to Net News, your weekly program dealing with all matters online. Tonight, we are fortunate to be joined by David Akris, head of the internet security company Weblog. Now, this evening, we are going to be talking specifically about matters related to email, such as spam, and the latest fear to grip the online community, the strange phenomenon which goes by the name of phishing. David, welcome to Net News.
Good evening, Jenny.
Right. What I would really like to know first from you, David, is this. How on earth can I reduce the amount of spam mail I find every morning in my inbox? I think things are getting absolutely ridiculous. I mean, this morning there must have been about 30 to 40 emails covering everything from having won the lottery to purchasing things I would rather not mention on this show. What can a normal email user such as myself do to combat this ever-growing problem?
Now, there are a couple of strategies that we can employ to reduce this admittedly annoying problem. First of all, you have to be really guarded about where you leave your email address. Of course, you give it to all your friends, and you give it to contacts you have through your workplace. Although I would also add, as a strong recommendation, that you have separate personal and work email accounts. But what you must not do is to navigate around the internet leaving your email address for everyone and his brother to find. Because believe me, there is no shortage of unscrupulous individuals out there who will harvest your email address among the thousands of others, either for their own personal gain or to sell to third parties.
Wow, I didn't realize it was so simple.
It's actually worse than that. There are little software programs called spiders that trawl around the internet on their own looking for email addresses. So your email address, left innocently on that cookery message board, doesn't even need to be seen by human eyes to be gathered. If any of your listeners are using what we call throwaway email addresses, provided by companies such as Yahoo or Hotmail, then I would recommend creating a new email account and starting over.
That sounds like worthwhile advice, David. You have spoken to us about how we can prevent our email addresses falling into the wrong hands. What can we do to alleviate the spam problem if this has already occurred, beyond creating a new account, which may not be practical for all of our listeners? Is there anything we can do to fight back against the spammers?
Sure. There are a variety of handy anti-spam tools out there on the market. Your ISP, that is your internet service provider, will most likely have one of the main anti-spam filters active on all their users' accounts.
Tell me about these filters. I think I need to get one.
Without going into too much technical detail, spam filter software will analyze all incoming messages and flag, divert, or delete emails that it considers to be spam. This may be because the message contains certain words. I think we all know what types of words I'm talking about here. Or the email may have other qualities which marks it out to be spam in all likelihood, such as large blue or red font, lack of return address, too much capitalization, and a whole list of other considerations.
But that doesn't mean we have to ask our friends never to write emails to us in blue. I would be very concerned about legitimate emails being deleted.
Oh, absolutely. An anti-spam filter will only flag an email message as spam if several of these factors are found to be present in a particular message. If your Aunt Kathy chooses to write to you in blue, but the message is otherwise perfectly normal, it will not be considered spam. These filters are great because users are often given control over the sensitivity level.
We've had a call from Margaret in Boston wanting to know if these anti-spam filters can also help in preventing her computer from being infected by a computer virus. Now, David, these are two different issues, I believe, aren't they?
Yes, many computer users do in fact manage to infect their PCs by opening attachments in emails, but these could easily come from people they know, who have unwittingly sent them infected files. The best advice I can give in the area of viruses is not to open any attachments that arrive unexpectedly. And of course, to always have an up-to-date antivirus program installed on your computer.
We now move on to an issue we mentioned at the beginning of the program, phishing. What is it and how can we best protect ourselves from it?
First of all, we should explain that even though the pronunciation is the same, this variety of phishing is spelt with a PH and not an F. Right, phishing is quite a recent phenomenon, but can be very damaging if users are not very aware of the dangers that exist. If you get an email that claims to be from, let's say, your bank, and asks you to click on a link, visit the site, and enter information such as your account number, password, or username, you can be certain that you have been a victim of phishing.
Does this only affect bank customers, David?
Not at all. Any service which requires online access and a password can be targeted. So online stores or auction sites have also fallen foul of this. The good news is that avoiding phishing is as simple as you could imagine. Don't ever, and I mean never, reply to any email that asks for personal information of this type. The authentic sites would never request this information from you via email. So you can be certain that any email such as this is a fraudulent attempt to gain sensitive information from you.
David, it's been very informative to have you here speaking to us today. A little understanding of these issues can help us see the world of email and the internet isn't so sinister after all. Please come back and see us soon, won't you?
I'd be delighted. Thanks very much for inviting me to speak to your listeners.
Okay, so I believe this listening was very simple to listen to. He was speaking very slow, so I'm guessing you were able to take notes. We're not going to be listening twice. And it's also, but since the proficiency exam is coming up, and in the proficiency exam you only listen once, we're trying to practice a little bit. So I hope you took notes, and we will start now. These actually don't require any note-taking, so you can do it yourself simply here just by reading the sentence and trying to, fill it up with what makes sense. So the presenter expresses frustration that she often finds we're talking about spam email, so what could we actually mention here? Her inbox is full of spam email. So if you ever get a question like this in English in general, even if you don't, or if you didn't have enough time to take notes, these are something that is considered to be general information, you can easily yourself fill up. So what does David recommends creating a new email address to use on the internet if you are having big spam issues. So if you see that you're getting a lot of spam like in your inbox, so just create a new email. The spam filters will analyze many things in a message, even the color or the size of the text. Jenny expresses concern that a genuine email might be, so if an email is genuine and I need it, what could happen to it, and it's a concern, it can be deleted, right? And the last one, phishing can easily be avoided by never replying to such fake emails. So again, like in the listening, when you are listening to a track, you only take notes of the actually important stuff, so the main points of the text. Otherwise, most of the time it's something like this that you can do yourself. So are these statements true or false? Jenny's guest works for an email company. It's false. David suggests not writing your email address on a piece of paper. False. He said like this way you wouldn't lose it. David says it's better not to mix work and personal email accounts. Forget about David for a second. I personally believe so, because otherwise you would have too much spam, and yeah, David also agrees. There are little software programs that travel the internet looking for email addresses. True. So some like this is why we constantly receive, it's called advertisement basically. Jenny claims not everyone can simply open a new email account. True, but I guess this listening was taken a long time ago. Now it's quite simple to just open a new email account. It could be difficult because, especially if you have a lot of contacts, going through all of that. David advises people not to write emails in blue. False. They were talking about blue being spam color, and it had nothing to do about writing it. It's impossible to get a computer virus from an email of a friend. False. We could easily get viruses online, so don't open anything that you don't really trust or know. Recently I get a lot of emails from what should be Apple, but it's never Apple really. So it's basically someone trying to take information. The recent phenomenon David speaks about is spelled phishing. Is it spelled that way, or is that wrong? False. It's PH, so that's the mistake. These things actually come up in the proficiency exam. So whenever you hear something is being spelled, know that it can be important. You should do it with them. That will be a question, basically. And thank you for listening. That's all for today. I will see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.